What's up, everybody? Welcome back. If you saw the last video on the Sturmansky, the first watch in space, that was all inspired because I was going down this eBay algorithm wormhole of these really quirky, interesting Russian watches from the Soviet era, or at least they say they're from the Soviet era, but really there are a lot of modern remakes, and that's what this is. Now, right off the bat, a really funny detail is these take forever to ship out to you. This one was saying 2 months. It was actually supposed to get here on September 11th, but it arrived a couple days ago. I don't know, on like 8/20. So, more than 3 weeks early. And it comes from the Ukraine, actually. The Ukraine? Ukraine? I know it's both. Yeah. So, Ukraine is like this whole weird cottage industry of remaking, like modern remakes of these Russian watches, and of all kinds, from the ones that went up in space to the polar, what do you want to call them? Expeditions? All kinds of different stuff. So let's get into it. I also just got off of COVID. 2025 COVID kicked my ass way more than 2020 COVID. So not to scare you guys, but I bring that up to say if I catch some goddamn Ukrainian variant, some from Ukraine with love variant. Cool. Look at that. Alrighty. Authenticity, straight, as authentic as a replica watch can be. Straight from Ukraine. I also did, according to 23andMe, it's so funny, a lot of Americans very quickly lose knowledge of their ancestors. We were all surprised to find that we had Ukraine heritage in like Ukraine, Polish kind of area. And then my dad starts telling me stories that they all hated the Cossacks. She's like, yeah, the only thing I remember about my great-grandma was they hated the Cossacks. And grandma, my grandma, his mom, loved making pierogies. And other details when you put it all together. Since we're not Jewish, they say that means you're probably Ukrainian peasants. Why? It's so hard. I always butcher these damn boxes. Okay, cool. These are instructions. And yeah, it's a Pobeda type of watch. You have the Sturmanskys, you got the Pobeda. Most of them are Pobeda. Pobeda? Alright. Let's try and do this as not caveman as possible. The fact that I don't put scissors over here is astonishing. There will be no other piece like it that you're likely to run into, for good and bad. Alright. Oh, come on, that's cool. Is it cool? Why is the oh boy. Why is that sticky? I'm hoping it's just sitting in the heat with the bubble wrap on it. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm silly. They actually put like a protective, no offense guys. This thing was under $100. I think it was $88. It's cool. You know, you got some, you know, it looks like a simple printed dial and all that, but it is. But that's cool. You got the little Soviet Air Force. So this is, obviously, they wouldn't have been in gold, but the gold black contrast with the slight green in the loom paint. It's I don't know, I just love that look. Really reached out to me, and I have bands that I can swap out here. So, because I believe it's 18 millimeter band. Should be easy. Might be a nice little elegant. I mean, people always say, oh, conversation starter and all that. You're not going to see something like this. You got the little sub-second hand, like those old vintage watches in the bottom there. It's super thin bubble UFO kind of profile. Simple back, nothing crazy on the back, just a plain case. But it's cool. And I actually really liked how the hour hand is on the, you know, inner circle, and the minute is on the outside. I always say, like, you need to know the minute more precisely than you need to know the hour. Sorry about that. But it looks cool. First impressions are it is cool. Let me get this. Looks like cleaner. Like like I said, no offense, guys. But if the metal looked funky or something, I'd have been like, I don't know. I'm buying a weird Soviet replica from Ukraine. Peeling off the stickers. I guess I could have done that on camera. On a macro, but here we are. Bada bing. Yeah, that's cool. You know, it is what it is. It's $88. I'm like, that's like less than an Invicta for something that has cool history. Let me read. Some of these things get up in like the 400s. There's like a cool 24-hour polar watch I'm looking at. And man, some of them are like 400. I saw one in the like mid ones, almost 2. I might buy it one day. We'll see. We'll see how much I love this thing. The first thing I see on this paper: do not expect from vintage watches high accuracy. An error of 2 to 3 minutes over 24 hours is already a good result. I love the English translation. 1 minute is ideal, which is true. When you go into like some of the old Rolex stuff, that is true. All right, it's necessary to wind the crown 35 to 40 turns away from yourself until it stops. When fully wound, they will run 36 to 40 hours. Look at that time reserve, baby. If the second hand has not started moving, I recommend swinging the watch from side to side to start the pendulum. All right. Practice shows that watches that are regularly wound work more stably and accurately. That's why, I mean, if I wear it, I don't know if I'll wear it every day, but I guess that's kind of a moot point. The movement is much more stable and the spring is constantly wound rather than constantly relaxed. So in other words, don't do what I'm probably going to do with this, which is I'm going to be like all into it, wind it up, then I'll be all into a different watch, and then it'll go down. It's pretty neat. It's like a weird, it's like plastic, but cool texture. All right, 35 to 40 winds. Let's do it. We'll speed up this part. Not going that I would then swing it side to side to start the pendulum. And it worked. It's moving. That is funny. I don't know how the power reserve works. I look like a goofball. But hey, I'm wearing black too. It matches. I didn't even plan that. All right, simple little band. I've actually had worse on much more expensive products. Oh, my other one's a 20. Damn. I have like a little python guy. That would have looked cool on here. I believe it's a 34 millimeter. And for you guys that think you can't wear it, please just give it a try. This was worn. This is the actual size. They were actually that small. Sometimes they're even smaller. Sometimes they're 32. That's Soviet. It looks a little small in the band, though, I gotta say. I gotta figure something out. Also, the case, like, style, it's like weirdly a dress watch. A Soviet fighter jet pilot, special forces style watch is... Oh, don't tell me. Oh, don't tell me there's a little tiny, like, scratchy thing or whatever on the friggin' dial right by the center. That might drive me batty. Oh, but it actually weirdly catches the light, man. I'll get some close-up shots. That is funny. Oh, that's not so cool. What is making that sound? The actual crown? I didn't even know if that was an issue. I didn't even know to think about that. Man, I've picked on other watches for being loud. So that kind of sucks. I'll admit that. That sound is not cool. But this is such a funny... I feel weird using this word since I have the Shunbun. All that Grand Seiko glory. But I gotta say, the finishing is pretty good. Like, light's kind of actually catching. There's like a weird mirrory look. I know it's obviously cheap to do and all that, but and my cat likes it, or at least has a comment. That's cool. All right, I'm back from the future, about more than 2 months out from the intro video from when I got it, and I'm still complaining. I have not worn this watch, I don't know, maybe twice. I've only worn it twice. I just can't get over that. I just move my wrist, it goes clicky clack, and I don't know. It just has such a cheap feel to it. I kind of not regret it. Not regret in the sense of like it was cheap, it was interesting, I was all into it. But yeah, I think you should pass on this one. Look at that. Let me put it right up to the mic just so you can hear it. It's a bit so much bumping it. Just the slightest move, it's so loud. Cat hair. Yeah. That's what it'll sound like when you're walking around with this watch just rattling on your wrist. I mean, it's cool. The manual wind and all that. It's so funny. This is my first manual wind going down in history. And I still do think the finishing is actually surprisingly, look at my top-notch polishing system here. But it's, I don't know. It looks okay. That dot in the center it has driven me batty. It's still, it's the tiniest of little scratch there, right in the middle. But I don't know. It's cool. The history and all that's interesting. And this is actually some loom, little green paint. It's, you know, it's a simple, basic loom there. But it's usable. It's more usable than a lot of other watches. But, yeah, the review is pretty straightforward. It is what it is. It's cheap. If you really like the look, it's interesting, novelty piece. Nobody was expecting horological greatness from this. But boy, did I not think that the rattling would be so strange and annoying. If you had a more interesting band, you know, the band also does feel... I said it wasn't that bad in the unboxing, but I don't know. When you actually wear it for any length of time, you're like, man, this just feels cheap. Interesting, but I would skip it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.